Isaiah chapter 52 begins with a call for Jerusalem to awaken and put on strength, for the time of her redemption is at hand. God commands the city to shake off her chains and rise from her bondage, as He is about to deliver her from captivity. God declares that His people have suffered long enough, and now the time has come for them to be freed. The chapter speaks of God's action in redeeming His people, who have endured oppression and exile. It also highlights the disgrace and shame that Jerusalem has experienced, but assures her that these will be wiped away with God's intervention. God then shifts to proclaim that His people will see His salvation and that the nations will witness His deliverance. The chapter contrasts the past suffering of Israel with the glorious future God promises. The oppression and abuse Israel has endured at the hands of foreign nations will be reversed, and God's name will be honored. This message also carries the theme of the holiness of God's actions. His people will not be redeemed by their own strength but by His mighty power and righteousness. The salvation coming to Israel will be undeniable and will cause the nations to recognize the greatness of God. The passage continues with a description of how God's people will experience the joy of their salvation. Their feet will be beautiful as they proclaim peace and bring good tidings of God's reign. The chapter highlights the importance of the message that God's kingdom is advancing, and with it, the restoration of His people. This is a message of comfort and hope, not only for Israel but for all the nations, as God's salvation reaches out to the world. The arrival of the salvation of God brings rejoicing, and the people of Jerusalem are called to celebrate the coming of the Lord. The final verses of the chapter describe the servant of the Lord, who will lead Israel's redemption. This servant will be raised high, though he will suffer and be rejected. His suffering is not in vain, as it leads to the salvation of God's people. The chapter ends by reminding the people of God's holiness and righteousness, and that, though His servant will be despised, His sacrifice will ultimately lead to the purging of Israel's sins. God's work through His servant will bring about not just physical redemption but spiritual renewal and restoration for His people. Let's now read Isaiah chapter 52. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Shake thyself from the dust, arise, and sit down, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus saith the Lord, Ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. For thus saith the Lord God, My people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. Now therefore, what have I here, saith the Lord, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them make them to howl, saith the Lord, and my name continually every day is blasphemed. Therefore my people shall know my name. Therefore they shall know in that day that I am He that doth speak. Behold, it is I. How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy God reigneth. Thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye, when the Lord shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem, for the Lord hath comforted His people, He hath redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord hath made bare His holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean, that bear the vessels of the Lord. For ye shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your reward. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently, he shall be exalted and extolled, and be very high. As many were astonied at thee, his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. So shall he sprinkle many nations, the kings shall shut their mouths at him, for that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider. This ends our reading of Isaiah chapter 52.